Welcome to Business Innovators Radio, featuring industry influencers and trendsetters sharing proven strategies to help you build a better life right now.
Welcome to the show. I'm Lisa Williams. Today, my guest is Julie Gordon White. Julie is an Amazon best-selling author of Exit: 12 Steps to Sell Your Business for the Price You Deserve. Julie is the founder and CEO of the Well for Women Entrepreneurs and BlueKey Media Group, a publishing and speaking company. Julie has worked with hundreds of business owners and spoken in front of thousands. She has appeared in media such as Inc., Entrepreneur, New York Times, WSJ.com, Black Enterprise, and others. Julie isn't just a trainer, mentor, and coach. She's a practicing entrepreneur, which keeps her current and connected to business best practices in a multitude of industries. Julie is now sharing what she learned from her clients about running, growing, and eventually selling $1 million plus business. Julie founded and grew her own multi-million-dollar business brokerage firm. She also facilitates the sale of her clients' companies through her firm, BlueKey Business Brokerage Mergers and Acquisitions, specializing in companies with an enterprise value between $1 and $10 million. Julie received a Bachelor's of Arts degree with a double major in rhetoric and sociology from the University of California at Davis. She shared the stage at a business conference where Oprah Winfrey and Robert Herkovich from Shark Tank were keynoting. Julie received the American Express Open Achievement Award and Woman of Distinction Award from the San Francisco Business Times. Please welcome to the show, Julie Gordon White.
Great to be here. Thanks so much for having me.
We're glad to have you. Well, let's get started. Today, we're going to talk about the growing number of Black women in business, how we've evolved, and what it'll take to help African-American women in business run successful businesses. Let's get started. Black women have always had an entrepreneurial spirit. From our great-grandmothers who cleaned houses for a living and sold fish dinners at churches, to the many African-American women who rose to the tops of their industries, including Michelle Obama, the first African-American First Lady of the United States, Sheila C. Johnson, founder of BET, becoming the first African-American woman billionaire, Oprah Winfrey, having the #1 daytime talk show in America, Serena Williams, #1 in women's singles tennis, Janice Bryant, owner of the largest minority woman-owned employment agency in the United States, and Ursula Burns, the first African-American woman CEO of a Fortune 500 company. And of course, the list goes on and on. In fact, according to the 2015 State of Women-Owned Business Report, the number of women-owned businesses grew by 74% between 1997 and 2015. The report also stated that 33% of women-owned firms are owned by minority women, and Black females are amongst the fastest growing group of entrepreneurs in the U.S. It's wonderful to know that African-American women entrepreneurs are the fastest growing segment of entrepreneurs in the U.S. What a great statistic. So it's important that we don't let this momentum die. Now, more than ever, African-American women entrepreneurs need resources available to help them not just be in business, but grow in business. The biggest hurdle African-American women business owners face is that many are first-generation entrepreneurs, and they lack exposure to other Black women in business that have successful businesses from which they can glean habits and proven processes from. Let's look at an example of just how important having a role model accessible to you can be. Here is what Jessica Alba, actress and CEO of The Honest Company, said about having someone that you can call on.
As far as mentors go, countless. I was not shy about making phone calls to many people. I've been fortunate enough to know people like Tory Burch and Diane von Furstenberg, and they, got lots of emails and phone calls from me along the way with tears in my eyes, saying, I don't know if this is possible. Why is everyone telling me no? What do I do? What does it even mean to get venture capital? What is venture capital? What's a board? I just didn't know all these business terms. And so they helped me understand it. And it's nice having women that you can look to and rely on.
Incidentally, her husband, Cash Warren, a Yale graduate, producer, and tech investor, introduced Jessica to his childhood friend, Brian Lee, an entrepreneur who co-founded LegalZoom. And the women Jessica reached out to, Tory Burch, who is a New York fashion designer, and Diane von Furstenberg, who is a billion-dollar fashion designer. Unfortunately, most African-American women don't have the same access and connections that Jessica Alba was blessed with. Black female entrepreneurs need a supportive network of African-American women business owners that we can learn from. It's time to talk, share, and provide resources and roadmaps to Black women in business. We need successful mentors to inspire African-American women on their journey in business. I have lined up a variety of successful, prominent, and leading African-American women in business across many industries to share their paths and secrets to their success. They will discuss their journey not only as women in business, but more importantly, how they grew successful businesses in spite of the unique challenges faced by African-American women business owners. Forgive my cloudy voice, but the show must go on. So let's get into the show.
My first question to you is, how do you feel being a part of this historical time for African-American women in business?
Well, I have to tell you, I am beyond proud, and I'm proud for myself and for my daughter, and, of course, all the other women and all the women who've come before me, my mother, my grandmother, on and on, but I just have a special feeling for my daughter because not only do I feel freer than ever to be all that I want to be, I know that my daughter, without a single doubt, can do every single thing she dreams of in life, and that's just about as good as it gets for me.
I love it. You have my vote. I agree. I have a daughter as well. I feel the exact same way.
Yeah.
So a good story isn't a good story until we can understand where you started. How did you get started in business, in your business?
Well, I was one of those kind of weird kids, if you will, Lisa, that loved selling and starting stuff, like little businesses. When I was about 10, I wrote my first business plan, if that gives you any insight to my brain. So I sold swimming lessons and Christmas cards and seeds that you can plant in your garden. I just love the idea of making my own money. So that kind of launched who I was in life, and I went through, and as I was older, I actually had a corporate career, and I was in the hospitality industry in the hotel business as the director of marketing, and I love that because I got a lot of really solid training. But once I started having the first of my 3 children, I'll say, that entrepreneurial spirit and that desire for flexibility and to live the life that I wanted to design so I could be there with my then son and future children really kicked in. And so that's when I started working on consulting from a marketing perspective, and then that evolved into running my family's business, which is a whole show because that was a funeral home. And boy, that was interesting times doing that. But through that process, I realized that I might want to buy my own funeral and just my own funeral home, if you will. So I went out and made an offer after pulling together a team of a CPA and a banker and a lawyer, and my offer wasn't high enough, so I didn't get the business. But going through that process, I realized I actually loved doing the deal even more than running the business. Now, running that business, I really perfected my skills on taking a small multi-million-dollar company, and at the time, I increased the profitability by 300%. So the purpose of that journey was to really sharpen my skills about how to improve the success and profitability of a small business. Then I added that with my new love of deal making, and I worked for a firm selling businesses for about 1.5 years. Then I went out on my own, and I started selling really small businesses. In fact, I was very well known here in the San Francisco Bay Area for selling florists, because I sold about 25 of them in 18 months, and then I started getting referrals for bigger deals, and that's when I launched my firm, my full firm, BlueKey M&A, and my deal size grew. So it kind of all went together, Lisa, one piece at a time. I believe that everything you do in life is part of your bigger journey. So that's how it flowed from being a little girl, having a dream, writing a business plan, all the way to selling other people's businesses, growing my own multi-million-dollar businesses, and then getting to the recession where, thanks to the economy, I learned that it was time to do something else. I'm sure you've heard that from some of your other guests.
Absolutely.
2008 was a huge time for a lot of people, and in my industry, there was no financing and no deals. So that's when the Well for Women Entrepreneurs was born. That's when I wrote my book and got started on my second journey of combining everything I learned from growing my business, selling other people's businesses, to help women now, which are my true tribe, grow multi-million-dollar businesses that are someday sellable. So that's my story.
How about that? And what a great path that you have been on in your entrepreneurial journey.
Yeah, mostly.
Absolutely. That's why we're here today, right?
Exactly.
So before we jump into the meat of the interview, tell me who you work with and what you do.
Sure. So women entrepreneurs are my people, I like to say. Of course, I have a few smart men in there too, but really speaking to women because we do have different challenges. Many of us are trying to raise children while we grow a business, maybe caring for elderly family members while we grow a business. So there are some special things that come with being a woman and having the dream. All of my community are women who really desire to grow a bigger business that's someday sellable. And I fully respect women that want to start a small business and stay small for their own personal reasons. But the people that are really attracted to what I do have a big vision and really are driven and excited about achieving it and building something that can be a legacy for someone else that's worth a lot of money at the end of the entrepreneurial rainbow, as I like to say.
I love it. So what do you call yourself, Julie?
So I call myself, first and foremost, an advisor, if that's what you mean in terms of, of course, I'm the CEO of the Well.
Sure.
I teach, be a CEO, right? You are the CEO of
right.
your business and your life. But really, I'm acting as an advisor. So I'm sure we'll talk more. We offer programs online, offline, but I'm here live with everybody in my community 2 days a week. We use technology to reach people from all over the United States and really support them in their dreams, mentoring and advising and supporting all along the way.
Excellent. Can you share a bit of how you help them, your community?
Sure. We kind of focus on 3 areas, and one is clarity. So you've got to be clear about what you want in order to get it. It's when we aren't clear that we spin around, we get frustrated, we have a lot of false starts, and we get attracted to kind of shiny objects that take us out of alignment with where we're going. So we focus on clarity first, and then we really narrow in on the exponential strategies that are going to really move your business forward quickly, because I believe in being more by doing less. That's part of the woman part.
Yes.
I have 3 kids, and every weekend, in the evenings, I'm on some field or court or homework or finals,
yes.
something, right? So I have to get things done exponentially because I want to be present in all the areas of my life. So we really focus on what are those needle movers, what are those exponential leverage strategies that are going to move a business forward quickly for that particular person. And it has to be a fit. Because what works well for someone else, even if they're in the same industry, may not feel right for the next person. So we really focus on what feels right to you. And then the last piece is accountability. We all have dreams and visions and ideas, and especially entrepreneurs, we're creators, right? We love to create things. That's the fun part. But you've got to get accountable if you want to get to the finish line or achieve those things. So accountability is a huge part of what we do. So those, I would say, are the 3 pieces.
Wonderful. Thank you for sharing that.
Sure.
Julie, in any industry, there are things people believe that may or may not be true. What are 2 or 3 needs or problems, real or perceived, that your clients or prospects have that you help solve?
Good one. I think people, first of all, always think you need a ton of money to get started and grow big. Now with technology, there are so many businesses that are getting to $1 million leveraging technology. E-commerce, email strategies, social media traffic. You don't need a ton of money. It's, the playing field is level now. It's one of the best times to be in business because you can actually grow $1 million business with, 1 to 3 people. It's absolutely possible. So the myth of needing a ton of money, now if you're a product company, then yes, it's going to take longer, it's going to take more money. But you absolutely can get started growing fast without a lot of money. So I would say that's a huge, huge misconception. Mm-hmm. But then I will add to that, another piece is business growth really is a team sport. So you can start out quickly alone, but you need to bring people in to grow farther. Yes. You need all of those perspectives. You need support. And that's another area that women need to really get clear about, is that we can't do everything ourselves. And control is so overrated, Lisa.
Yes,
control
it is.
So overrated.
It's so 1985.
Exactly. Unfortunately, it's so 2016.
That's true.
It's,
2005. Yeah.
Totally. It's just that women, that's part of why we're good at what we do and why we're successful, is because we are in control of so many things often. However, to grow your business, you cannot do it all. I believe in having it all, but you don't want to do it all. So right out of the gate, I really encourage all of the women in my community to find a bookkeeper right out of the gate, find a virtual assistant right out of the gate, and get some accountability or coaching right out of the gate, because those 3 partners you can pay for 1 hour at a time. Mm-hmm. And everyone can afford to have 3 people on their team right from the start. You don't have to have people as employees.
Excellent suggestion. Laura Langermeer, the first person she says that you should hire is house help.
Yeah, that too.
That too.
Or just forget it. Who cares?
Right.
That's what kids are for, right? Or,
right, if you have them, absolutely.
Yeah. For me personally, I rather teach my kids to do things and spend that money on marketing. But hey, whatever makes you, gets you focused. House support. That's a beautiful thing. If that's a priority for you, 100%. The other person I want to add to that is a virtual assistant. Again, you can buy by the hour. You need someone to help. Business growth is a team sport.
Yes, it is. So as an African-American woman in business, let's talk about what your path has been like as you navigated your entrepreneurship. What can you share? Yeah, what can you share with other African-American women business owners about starting, staying, and sticking it through to reach a level of success in business?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's an interesting question, because I often, through my growing up in school and college and career business, have usually been, the only one of me in the room. Mm-hmm. Very few. So let's say in my industry of mergers and acquisitions, there are less than 10% women and probably 1% African American. So often I would be at a conference, I'd look around, Lisa, and there were like 3 other women. We were kind of huddled together, and I was the only Black woman, So, and I think initially it slowed me down from going for the bigger deals right out of the gate. And I had an interesting conversation with another mergers and acquisitions professional that I had worked with, and he is an older Caucasian man, and he said, Julie, I hate competing with you for deals because everybody always wants to work with you. You're a woman. Everybody knows who you are. So if anything, being an African-American woman created a brand for myself. I stood out. I didn't blend in with everyone else. And once I really heard that, and that's a whole nother issue, needing to hear it from him. But I'm being honest here, Lisa. So But once I truly connected with that was it for me. Sky's the limit, because it just reinforced what I already knew in my heart, that what I have is quality, good, helpful, valuable. But now, this thing that I have that sometimes people feel holds them back, I think it's amazing because it sets me apart. It's part of my brand. Makes me special. So
makes you special. That's right. No, honestly, it really does. And so it's really that half empty, half full cup.
Yeah, and I never felt it was empty. I'm an optimist. I'm positive by nature. I never felt that it was a negative thing, of course, but I didn't necessarily look at it as like I am special in this pond of blue. I am sparkly orange, So
right, you were the purple cow. You were able to position yourself and leverage being an African American woman in business in your industry.
Absolutely, and I've never forgotten that since. And that was in my 20s. So there you go.
Good. So now, what was hard for you? I mean, honestly, think of one of the most challenging times in business. What was really hard for you?
Yeah, definitely post-recession. I really didn't see it coming. My company had doubled every single year from the start. Lots of money in the bank, very successful team of 10. And to be honest, when it happened, I barely noticed because I was still flush. The cash was still there. And as a matter of fact, at the end of that year, I had closed a really big deal. So it was really 2009 and then 2010 when I thought, oh my gosh, okay, cash is drying up and we're not coming back. This thing is not improving. And so that was really a tough time, and figuring out, do I want to revitalize this thing, or do I want to do something different? And since I was in the fork in the road, I actually found myself at my home, which is unusual when you have 5 people in your house, for 3 days. And I decided to have a silent retreat. So 3 days of no talking at all, no TV, no nothing, just my little thoughts. And that's where the Well for Women Entrepreneurs just kind of downloaded for me, in the quiet, in the peacefulness. And that's when I reinvented myself and started coming back. But, it didn't happen overnight, and now I was doing it in a different area. I got to leverage what I have, been doing for the last 20 years, but it was different. And so learning those new muscles, that new process, that had to dig down deep again, that grit, from when I started way back in my 20s, and now I'm not my 20s anymore.
Right. Now let's look at something that you said there.
Sure.
So you went from mergers and acquisitions, big business deals, to creating the Well for Women.
Yeah.
That's quite a shift.
Yes and no, right? Because I brought all of that knowledge and experience to the well. That's
yes.
right. That is the well, right?
That is the well. Yeah.
That's the well.
I love it.
What was new about it is the delivery. So before, the service business, I built it through referrals from attorneys and CPAs, and the well was really about me speaking about online marketing, online training, workshops, conferences. So different approach, and getting my systems and process down in that area. And that took time.
Yeah, definitely. So would you say that the way that you dealt with and solved the situation, how you got past it, was the shift?
Huge shift. I had to really believe in myself more than ever. It really helps when you focus on serving who you love and serving what you love. If you do those two things, that gets you through everything, right? Yep. Serve who you love and love what you serve. And really, really reconnecting with belief, belief in why I'm here, what I'm supposed to do, and going with it. And I have a really fabulous husband who supports me 100%. So
that's a nice piece.
That's a huge bonus.
Yeah.
He just lets me do what I do. So I love that about him. That helps a lot, too.
I bet. So we have other Black women that have accomplished great successes, like those I mentioned earlier. Others such as Taraji P. Henson, Kamala Harris, Shonda Rhimes, and countless others. Can you share a nugget to help women that are just starting a business?
Yeah. Start.
Yes.
Just start.
Mm-hmm.
I think sometimes we get ourselves all bottlenecked because we think we need to have the answers to everything, and it has to be perfect. And then we get into a place of paralysis. We can't take the first step because we don't know every step. Martin Luther King says faith is taking the first step when you don't know where the stairway leads. And so that nugget is to just start right where you are. You have a dream, you have a vision, just take the next best step. That's it. And then see what the next one is. And then take the next one. And just trust where the journey is going to take you. That's always served me.
Great nugget. So what would you say is most important to have a successful business?
Commitment. That's the easy part. You know, are you committed? You know, are you in it for the long haul? Because you're going to have roller coaster years, bumps in the road, big paydays, all kinds of wonderful and not so wonderful things are going to happen in your entrepreneurial journey. But if you're committed, then you just keep going. Just keep going.
Yes. If you, Julie, could share something with your younger self, let's say the 15-year-old Julie, about being in business, what would it be?
The 15-year-old Julie, I would say, make sure you get your degree. It doesn't matter what it's in, anything. Obviously, I have a rhetoric and sociology degree, and I'm selling, finance. Doesn't matter. Get your degree, because during that time frame, you're really refining who you are. You're maturing, you're growing, you're meeting people that are going to be part of your life and your network for forever. So finish your degree, get a job if you can in corporate so you can learn all of that kind of big business, big corporate tools that companies pay a lot of money to deliver to their employees, training, structure, etc., and then launch out on your own. But having the structure of a degree, if that's for you, having the structure of corporate training, if you can have that, all of those things together make a huge difference when it's time to start your own business. You're not making things up so much as we go. You have something to lean back on, not in case your thing doesn't go. I don't want you to have that. There are backup plans if you're all in. But you have that platform, that foundation where you've learned from big dollars, big companies. You've seen it before, and it makes it a lot easier when you're doing it all by yourself, and everything you pay for is coming out of your own pocket. That's what I would tell my 15-year-old self. Yeah.
All right. I love it. As I explained in the introduction, one of the greatest challenges African-American women face in business is the lack of successful African-American role models in their community. So let's talk now specifically about the unique challenges African-American women in business face. And I'm going to briefly name several areas. Can you pick one that you can relate to and may have been a struggle or challenge for you while you were growing your business?
Okay.
So one of those areas tends to be family. They didn't understand your entrepreneurial walk. Another one is friends. Friends may not have owned their own businesses. Another, lacking relationships, because many black female business owners are first-generation entrepreneurs. Investing in yourself. Many African-American women do not go to personal development seminars or have mentors or coaches. And volunteering. Unfortunately, as African-Americans, we aren't brought up in our homes to volunteer other than what we may do at church if that's part of our lifestyle. So for you, Julie, what area, whether it's no role models, business knowledge, business terms, seeking capital, what do you think, and I'm sure you can probably drop a nugget in each one of these categories, but what one area would you say was challenging for you as an African-American?
Sure. I would say finance. So, my family's pretty supportive, although I'm the first real entrepreneur in our family. My friends, I tend to surround myself with women entrepreneurs, and they become my friends, my business support and friends, so it kind of goes together. Volunteer, I don't know, I just do that on my own because I like it, but finance was kind of a big issue. In order, at some point when your business gets bigger, you do need things like lines of credit to make sure you can pay payroll and finance inventory, things like that. So when I grew my business to a level that now it was time to put my money where my mouth is, where the rubber hits the road, and I had to talk to my husband about needing to get a line of credit. That was a big conversation. My husband is a police officer, so that's a different thought process. His checks come, twice a month, no matter
Right.
what. And
Sure.
Having to get a loan or line of credit where we have to put our house up as collateral, that was a big conversation. And as much as he supports me, I think that was a big one. And I think that's an issue for women, but especially African-American women, because maybe you don't have the collateral, or maybe you do have it, but you're not willing to take any risks with that. So
we're not used to leveraging.
Not at all, because if you don't have entrepreneurs in your family, then that just seems like a crazy thing to do. You have a house. Why would you do that? Somebody might
Right.
you.
Why would you do that?
Why would you do that? So when you can get a job, it seems like so many other better choices. But what I recommend, and this is how I solved it for myself. Instead of getting a straight loan that I had to pay back over 5 to 10 years, whether I was successful or not, I got a line of credit. And so I encourage other women to get the biggest line of credit that they can get access to, because that way you only have to take as much as you need. So you only have to pay back what you take. You're not on the hook for the whole thing, but you do have it available to you if you need it. So it's kind of like a baby step in terms of finance, but at least you've got this whole line available to you should the need arise to have it. Does that make sense?
It makes total sense, and great advice. Yeah. So did you, I think you alluded to it, but did you grow up with entrepreneur examples in your home, or are you a first-generation entrepreneur?
First generation. Yep. My dad's an attorney, and my mom is an administrator for the University of California educational system.
Okay.
So, nope. I was the only crazy one in my family to take this leap.
How about that? Brothers, sisters, aunts, uncles?
No.
No one. Okay.
No one. My mother often says, I don't know where you came from, but I like it, but I still have no idea where you came from. So that's okay.
I love it. So there are many articles online about entrepreneurs and their success stories or challenges that they had to overcome, but there are very few about current-day women and what they've gone through, and definitely not specific articles sharing what African-American women have gone through with regard to their business. What did you do when you got stuck or overwhelmed or ran out of money, or even possibly felt like quitting?
Yeah, all of those. Well, I'm a huge reader. I've done all of that, just so you know, Lisa. But I'm a huge, first of all, business book reader. So I read a lot. I love information because I always feel, just like you asked me for a nugget, there is a few nuggets in everything. So voracious business book reader. I've always loved Black enterprise. I've really been inspired by that over the years. I've even been to their entrepreneurial conference before, to be around other African-American entrepreneurs who have achieved a level of success greater than mine. I always try to position myself around people who are, bigger, gone farther than I have, because I find that very inspirational, and then you can always ask them a question or two. So I think those kind of are the best ways that I've been able to kind of keep it going. I also belong to organizations of women entrepreneurs. So find your people that you can surround yourself with, because I guarantee you're not the only one going through whatever you're going through. There's just no reason to suffer alone and in silence. That's what groups are for, because everybody has already been through it. So
they've gotten stuck. They've been overwhelmed. They've ran out of money.
Right, and be prepared, because you're going to do all that again. That's just part of being an entrepreneur. So be around other people that you can share with honestly and get honest feedback from, and that will take you a long way to staying in the game and not quitting when you know it's not time to quit, but you're just tired, you're burned out, but you know there's more.
Nice. What didn't you have when you were building your business that you wish you would have had?
I wish my parents were entrepreneurs. And that's a funny thing to say, because I've actually sold a lot of businesses where the kids did not want to buy the business because they saw how hard their parents worked. Just like, really? I'm thinking there's so much money and opportunity and it's already done for you. but they
right.
don't want it.
You're ahead of the game.
Right, you're 10 steps ahead, but they want to go forge their own way. So I understand that. But
sure.
I think I would have liked that role model. When you see
in your home,
in my home,
seeing it every day.
And not only seeing it, but from the people that I loved and trust and valued the most, until my husband came along as well. So that would have been awesome. And I guess, it goes both ways. And then maybe I would have been limited by whatever level of success my parents had
sure.
had that been the case. And that might have brought on a whole new level of stuck, So
right.
there are gifts in everything. But that would have been fun, I think. I don't know, just a rear view perspective, that maybe growing up in an entrepreneurial family would have been helpful.
Okay. And can you share a business challenge, hardship, or hurdle that you went through and what it took to get through it? I know you said that transition or the market fall in 2008 was absolutely probably the biggest, but can you share a particular business challenge?
Well, what I will share, and that was the biggest business challenge that I've experienced in all of my years as an entrepreneur, but the other piece of that was the mindset that I had to conquer again. Because being honest, I lost a lot of my confidence. Here I had grown a very successful company, and I thought it would just bounce back quickly. And then not just the business, but, I thought I would bounce back, or I didn't even know that I had bounced down, but I had.
Yes.
I'm like, wow, what's happening here? I lost my confidence. I lost my belief in myself because it took longer than I thought. So I had to do a lot of work around trusting myself again, that I did know the right way, that I could build it again or build something else again. And because the well is such a personal business to me, it means so much because I'm right in my lane, if you will. I'm right smack in the middle of my calling in life. It was harder. It was so much harder because it just meant so much to me. So,
Julie, tell me, stay right there for a moment.
Yeah.
Tell me about some of the work. Give me a couple of nuggets of the work that you did during that time.
Silence and meditation have been huge because we all know the answers to our own questions, but often we seek the information externally. And allowing myself the space of quiet and nature and peace allowed the answers that I already had within me to come out. That was really, really big.
That is big.
Yeah, just getting back to myself, Lisa, when you're doing all the time, filling up your time, you can't think. It's not even thinking. You can't hear.
Right.
And so, and I have to tell you, all of that silence was actually forced. I didn't choose it in the beginning, I had a lot of quiet time.
Right.
But I didn't want. But once I kind of surrendered to what was happening in it and then went deeper with meditation, and meditation doesn't have to be just sitting around, in silence. It can be outside, walking, yoga, that place where you find your peace.
Yes.
Then that's when I started hearing my own answers again and then listening, and then that's when things really started to grow.
2008 was such a humbling time, but still it gave us all the opportunity to see everything could change overnight, literally.
Yes.
Yeah.
There was a gift in there somewhere. It just took me a while to find it.
Yes, indeed. So let's switch a bit here. I need to complain about something for a moment.
Okay.
Go ahead. Black businessmen are showing us out, and that's not going to work. Tyler Perry has shared his homeless to success story. Eric Thomas, the motivational hip-hop preacher, has the homeless to PhD story. Us women, we've got to get our stories out and document it so African-American women in business have some inspiration when they're feeling low, when they're searching online, and trying to find out and learn what to do during their challenging times. So, Julie, I ask you, together, if we will, what's your rags to riches story? What's your hero story?
Well, I would say, my hero story, most importantly, is that I made the decision to have it all, and that is where I stay. So that means having grown a $5 million company, coming up on the 25th year of my marriage anniversary to the same guy, 3 kids. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you can do it. You can do it.
Story. Yes, it is.
You can't sit around wishing, it happens. You have to do the work. You have to stay focused. You have to take one step every day, but believe that you can do it. If I can do it, anybody can do it. I've helped all kinds of women grow their businesses. Anyone can do it if you choose to, and they're willing to take that step every single day to get there.
Yes.
That's really it. I've done it. If I can grow a $5 million business, that's in finance with 2 liberal arts degrees. Come on, anybody can do it.
That's right. That is right. That's very good.
Yes.
So I would say maybe your rags to riches story is writing a business plan at 10 to selling multi-million-dollar businesses.
Okay, I'll go with that.
Okay.
It's funny. I don't have a rags story, but I do believe, starting small and growing big. Absolutely.
I like that a lot. Starting small and growing big. Thank you for sharing that with us.
Yes.
So tell me, what are your thoughts about collaboration? What are your thoughts on collaboration instead of competition?
Well, first of all, I don't really believe in competition because we live in a huge world. There are enough people for everybody. There are enough customers for everybody. And if you are fully in your lane doing you, no one else can do you. So just do that. If you stay in your lane, then nobody can do what you do. So don't worry about it. It's so much better to, again, partner up, grow faster with collaboration than being scarce and afraid and focusing on competition. There's enough for everyone. Have an abundance perspective versus a scarcity perspective. Yes.
That's right. One of the things I share with business owners, especially women that I work with, is how they can succeed without having to compete by implementing the power of positioning and leveraging the media to build their brand. I was taught at a very young age, or to be honest, I wasn't even taught. Somehow it was instinctual that I needed to just raise my own bar. I played basketball and competed with boys or where I was in the arena with boys, but I was never competing against them. I just kept competing against myself and raising my own bar and getting a little better and better and better.
Love that.
It worked.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Stay in your own lane. It's one of my favorite things.
Stay in your own lane. So, Julie, how do you think we can move forward and turn that growing number of, and you're going to love this question, African-American women in business into successful million, multi-million, and billion-dollar businesses from the statistic I shared earlier?
We have to keep providing tools and resources. Those of us who have achieved a level of success need to mentor others, but in the biggest format that we can. One-to-one is very, very good, very impactful. But if we're going to move big numbers forward, it has to be leveraged. We have to use the internet. We have to have resources, training. I provide a complimentary 21-day business plan webinar every single week. We have to have tools like that where women know that they can go to get information that's really targeted, so they're not doing too much information. They're doing what they need to do to move their businesses forward, and they can get then more advice and accountability. But we have to help those of us who are behind and get help by those who are in front. We all have to work together, right? But use the internet. Use the internet to leverage the right information to move large numbers forward. That's what we have to do. I think we've been really focused on helping one-to-one, like mentoring one-to-one, which is really, really good and valuable. But we have the internet to leverage to move big numbers forward in a big way. And I really think it's a big opportunity in front of us.
Yes, it is. So what's your best piece of advice outside of that for African-American women entrepreneurs building their business and those that may be struggling with finding startup capital or considering quitting and going back and getting a job?
Yeah, join an organization that helps women entrepreneurs, whether it's National Association of Women Business Owners, NAWBO, which is national, organizations like that. Get in a group of like-minded women. Go find your people, some who are bigger than you. Don't forget that, because they're going to show you the way, because everybody needs that support around them. Do not go it alone. You can't do it. I mean, you can, but it's not going to be any fun, and you're going to get stuck.
No, and you're going to get stuck.
You're going to get stuck, and there's no reason to be stuck when somebody else has already figured out the path. So get yourself in a group and keep going. Keep going.
So, Julie, what impact would you like to make as an African-American woman in business over the next 10 years?
That's a great question. Well, only 4% of all women entrepreneurs grow to $1 million. So my goal is to get at least 10% in 10 years. So we can have, 10% of all African-American women entrepreneurs to $1 million or greater. Wouldn't that be fantastic?
It would be fantastic, and I commend you, because most people answer that question, and ultimately it could benefit you and will benefit you. But I love that you had a larger vision for African-American women business owners in general.
It's kind of how I think, big.
Yeah. We all win.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, that's what it's all about. It's all about that.
Do you currently have a mentor or a business coach at this juncture in your business?
Yes, I do. Absolutely.
And you obviously think that's important. That's why you have that person.
Well, I walk my talk. If I'm going to tell everybody you need to get accountable, whether it's with my programs or someone else's, then of course I need to do the same thing. So if I believe in what I preach, so you bet. I have actually 2 groups and 1 one-to-one advisor.
Excellent. Do you have a suggestion for Black women in business on how to approach or seek a mentor to get advice, encouragement, coaching for their business?
Sure. I think, first of all, just like anything in business, we have to get good about asking. You just have to ask. And a great soft ask is, you don't want to say, hi, do you want to be my mentor? That's like, hi, do you want to get married? That's just too much of a commitment. But you can say, do you have 15 minutes? I would like your advice on X. So something specific, because successful people are busy and can't have this big open-ended question. So if you ask for a short amount of time for specific advice on one thing, and then if that goes well, it's kind of a test for you, too, to figure out, is this person really who I thought they were? Do I really want them to mentor me? And then it gives them a taste of who you are, and they can figure out if it's a good fit for them as well.
That's wonderful advice. Wonderful. Do you know of, just real quickly off the top of your head, do you know of any organizations that you can recommend for mentorship, business coaching, etc.?
Well, I really think for women entrepreneurs, start with your local NAWBO chapter, National Association of Women Business Owners. That's a hub for everything for women entrepreneurs. And if you don't find what you're looking for there, then everybody there will know where to go to get it. So that is your number one hub, and there are chapters everywhere. I think there's 14,000 members nationwide. Yeah.
Excellent. Now, can we learn what Julie's 5 success tips are?
Sure. I mean, I could take a whole show with these, but I'm just going to give you the boom, boom, boom. Is that okay, Lisa?
Oh, that's fine.
All right. So number 1, think big. It's just as easy to think big as it is to think small. Number 2, stay clear about your goals at hand. Number 3, just do the next best step. Number 4, listen to your own internal GPS. It knows exactly where you need to go. And 5, get accountable with an advisor, a community, and a team to lift you up when life is tough and cheer you on when things are great.
Wonderful. Excellent, excellent tips. Well, Julie, thank you for taking the time to give back and share your journey as a Black woman in business. Is there one last nugget you would like to leave as inspiration?
Well, just continuing on with the 5 steps, I would just say think big, stay focused, and start right where you are.
Wonderful. And where can listeners get more information about you?
Sure. Well, I've got a lot of great resources on my own website. They can go to juliegordonwhite.com and even try a 14-day membership in my Accelerate program as well. Lots of fun things there. So check it out, juliegordonwhite.com.
Thank you for sharing that.
Sure.
Well, thank you for joining the show today. And everyone, remember, lead with value and the revenue will follow.
Thanks for listening to Business Innovators Radio. To hear all episodes featuring leading industry influencers and trendsetters, visit us online at businessinnovatorsradio.com today.